So you just completed the warm up on how to make a composite. We talked about those 3 steps in this class for composites. We also talked about what a composite is, what it's used for, some specific examples, and now we are going to discuss pros of composites. We're also going to next class talk about the cons of composites. So when you hear of terms like pros and cons. Pros are going to mean a good thing or a good attribute of composites, why we use composites, why they're so good. Then the cons of composites are going to be the bad things of composites. So maybe some reasons why we wouldn't use them, or maybe some downfalls of composites. So in your notes, it is split up pros, and then it will say downfall, which is another word for cons. So some pros of composites are the strength, also the stiffness, and the lightness. So we talked about that specifically within aerospace and automobile industries. So the greatest advantage of composite materials is that they can hold a lot of strength, hold a lot of stiffness, but they can also be very light at the same time. So it won't take up a lot of mass and can be used in things like aerospace travel or auto industries. So another pro of composites is that you, as a manufacturer or an engineer, can choose any combination of these materials and it can fit the need that you're trying to get the product to have. So, by choosing an appropriate combination of reinforcement and matrix material, manufacturers can produce properties that exactly fit the requirements for a particular structure for a particular purpose. So, what that really means is that you have full leeway on what you want to do. You can put this type of reinforcement and this type of matrix into a product and it will have the properties that you want it to. So you can design it to have a certain mold, a certain shape, because you are sticking it into a mold. It really is up to you what you want, and you won't have to pay for something that isn't tailored to that certain product. Another pro of composites are that the right composites also stand up well to heat and corrosion. So, composites that you usually see in the industries of civil infrastructure, buildings, automobile industries, and aerospace industries will have to be exposed to extreme environments, so moist conditions or higher temperature. So, these composites will be able to withstand higher temperature and a lot of water in an environment. So, composites that are used in a bridge will last longer than the steel bridges that we see or the metal bridges we see in Pittsburgh. Usually, often you can see rust on some of them, or they will need to be repaired more often because they aren't made of a composite. So, these are some of the quick pros of composites. I have listed a couple more just because there are more than what I'm listing. I don't want you to think that there's just only 3 reasons to use a composite or good reasons to use a composite. So the other pros of composites will be that since you are molding the composite, you can really make it into any shape that you want it to be. So as long as you can make a mold of that shape, your product can be that shape. And also, since we are using 2 materials in their liquid form and then they are solidifying in a mold, we won't have to use many parts to make a product. It's really just that product will be made after it is made a solid in that mold. And because of all of these part counts being reduced, production cost can be reduced. There is a downfall that we will talk about next class. Some of these products and machines can cost money, but once those costs are already completed, that really takes care of the composite. So it won't be that expensive, but some of those parts and those machines to make a composite are expensive. We talked at the beginning of the class that composites can be more durable and have more stiffness. And due to this durability, they will have a greater reliability in uses, and there are fewer inspections and structural repairs. So, like I said about bridges, you usually see bridges having to be repaired, or people will start to make new bridges because they are falling apart. So, this use of composites will lessen that need for repairs because they are stronger. They can withstand those certain environments. So, after you watch this video, we're going to do a worksheet on just the basics of the pros. And then I'm going to also make you look at 2 websites, and you are going to look at the specific composite versus, like, say, steel, or composites versus aluminum. So you are going to see different pros of why one is better than the other. So you will complete that and you will be done for today. And everything will be due at the end of class. So if you have any questions on this video, please let me know.